Sai Ram, my dear young students, welcome to this session. Here, all these days, we have seen poem, we have seen the articles, and these are all genres of prose literature. Essays, articles, and diaries, all these things, and also letters. So today we are going to study one genre of literature, that is letter writing. And this is an interesting letter. There are two letters, they are very interesting. So we shall have that. Before that, let us have some discussion. What are the pre-reading questions? Why pre-reading questions are given? Only to prepare you for the content that you are going to read. That is the purpose of pre-reading questions. During your high school days, were you scolded by parents or elders? This is one. Can you remember any of your situations? For example, elders, they will be giving so many instructions. Don't do this, don't do that, don't meet him, don't eat that. All these things, this older generation or your father's generation and grandfather's generation, usually they have. And I want you to go back to your situations. Had you been scolded? Had you been given strict instructions? So during that time, what did you feel? Did you argue with them or agree with them? Whenever you were given a set of do's and don'ts and scolds. So what was your reaction? Go back to your childhood days. What did I do? When my mother gave me a good slap after emptying the undi dabbi, so how was your reaction? Were you angry or did you laugh? So go back to your memories, nostalgic memories, and write a note on that, because I have already taught you how to record your feelings and prepare a write-up. And how did you react to them? I want you to just, what was your reaction? What was their action? What was your reaction? So, on these things, think over that and prepare a write-up. Here, a young boy, the letters that we are going to read, written by a young boy, in reply to the one he has received from his father. Father's letter is not given. You have to assume after reading son's letter, so you must presume what his father must have written. And keeping that in your mind, you read the letters. Let us see what he has to say. The writer of the letter, that is the son. Now, shall we read letters? Can we? Okay, come on. Dear Papa, this is answer to your letter about my transgression. What is that? I have gone out of my limit. In Kannada we call it atikramana, ullanghane. So it is my ullanghana. But yes, it is a protest. My first rank slipped to the second. I was always first rank, but slipped to the second. You see how he uses the words. He never said, I lost the rank. And my first rank slipped to the second. What a beautiful language. You advise that I should think before answering the papers. Usually, what you will be telling me you should not what? You should think before that. Yes, the operating word think before answering the papers. I know your intention. Yes, the operating word think did make me reflect, and these are the results of those reflections. I thought over that. You asked me to think. After my thinking, these are my reflections, my feelings, my thoughts. Father, you see second paragraph. Father, in Kannada, you say Appa, Appa, like that. Father, we have really been close, and I can't rightly say you have been my friend, philosopher and guide. Even though you were very loving to me, but I never took you as a friend, or you never took me as friend, philosopher and guide. I did not find those in you. Yet I would like you to be aware of my thoughts. Even though you were not guiding me, but I want to record my thoughts to you in this letter. They are very important to me. Papa, all the thoughts that I am going to write, they are very important to me. You are highly educated. You see how one should write letters, because letters are the emotional expression. You see how, and you are quite educated, well educated, provide very well for the family. You look after the family, mother, children, fine. But in your department store, you see, comes to the next question. Do you apply Pythagoras theorem or Newton's law of gravity? Papa, you have already studied. Are you going to apply those things that you have read, studied in the classroom? Why does he ask that question? For that matter, does your doctor friend or your lawyer brother? So, do you take them? Are you going to follow them? So, what is that? You are in the department store, whatever that is business, so are doing. You see the tone of the letter. Papa, he comes to another point. First point, all that we study in the classroom is not at all useful in the real life-like situation. That was the point, the first point. Second point is that, Papa, my grandfather speaks of carefree and beautiful childhood. He gives a lecture how the young students, children should be treated. Off days means when he was young, off days spent in plucking mangoes and guavas from their orchards. So, my grandfather, when he was a child, he was plucking mangoes and guavas. Guavas, peru hannu. And we were going for picnics on the banks of the river, where the man cooked mouth-watering food. So he enjoyed. So they used to arrange the parties, and one man was cooking mouth-watering food. It's a compound word that you have already learnt of playing. That is number 2. Of playing marbles and gilli dand. Marbles, you just put it like this. Tuck. Gilli dand, and there is one, and just sending it. So, he used to play. That is what he was telling me. From his talk, it seems studies were secondary subject. They were not given primary importance. But living and experiencing, this is very, very important, which is missing nowadays. Living and experiencing in life. That is the major subject when when grandfather was a student. And father, you see how he appeals, father, Appa. Is he fibbing? Is he telling lies? Is he bluffing? We use the word bluff. Is he bluffing? Is he telling lies? Or is it possible that the world turned topsy-turvy in just about 70 years? Do I think like that? In 70 years of time, whether the whole life has gone upside down, topsy-turvy, upside down, ulta palta. Has it gone ulta palta? Father, you see the tone and appeal. Let us go to the next paragraph. Papa, my grandmother is semi-literate. You see how finely he argues all the points. Papa, my grandmother is semi-literate. Now she is not so literate like my mother. Semi-literate, able to manage household affairs. Yet she is at peace with her pets. Pets and pots. Usually old people, old ladies, are very much interested in pots. Pots and pans refer to what? Kitchen things. Still, she is in peace. With what? With her work in kitchen. Then her gardening, her flowers and garden. She does that job also. And she takes her Bhagavad Gita and scriptures. She is very fine. What does it say? So this is what Paravidya. Nowadays, we are fully busy with Aparavidya, taking degrees after degrees. And morally, spiritually, we have become hollow. But you see, this grandma has got the interest in scriptures and Bhagavad Gita. But you see, my mother, highly qualified, MA, PhD, highly qualified, is highly strung, easily angered, always highly strung. She is strung. My grandmother, very, very calm and quiet. And tense, always tense is, always in care, full of cares and worries. What shall I do? Tense and nervous. Suddenly, if something happens, nervous, breakdown. It is my mother. Do you think literacy makes us? You see how nice the boy is. Do you think literacy makes us, means getting the degrees, getting the Aparavidya, restless? Does it make us restless? Does it make us afraid and frustrated? Whether our degrees and diplomas, are they going to make us restless? This is what he wants to hint to his father. Now, assignment. It's a very simple letter and simple questions also. While sending the answers, even if you want to send answers for the small questions, put only the number of the question. Don't rewrite the question. Listen to me again. Don't rewrite the question. Put only number. So who is that? Who has written this letter? Very simple. Son. Who is written to? Father. Why is it been written? It is in response to his father's letter. Father must have written a letter. Hey, you hopeless fellow. My dear son, you have lost the first rank. Perhaps must have written. And which words give? What had his father written? Perhaps he must have been very harsh. What made you? We are sending you, spending so much of money, and you are not getting first rank. Perhaps must have written. That is the response. Second question, is the writer a good student? Which words that give you an answer? That is the first paragraph, my first rank slipped to the second. See how nice. So these words are going to give that he was a very good student. Are Pythagoras theorem and Newton's law of gravity important to all of us in our daily lives? No. Simple answer. You are sin theta, cos theta, all these thetas, you will be learning in mathematics. Are you going to use it whenever you go to the bazaar? So you have to talk. Hello lady, what is the price of this? They are good, but these are bad. In that way you want language. Are you going to have sin theta, cos theta with that? No. Like that, Newton's laws, Pythagoras laws, they are there. Only to get the degrees, but not for the life. And now, let us go to the what kind of life the writer's grandfather when he was a small boy. Again, you have to write. He used to spend time in doing so many activities, gilida and playing and plucking flowers and the fruits. What was considered important in those days? Living. Here, I had underlined that word. They were interested in living and experiencing. Go back to the paragraphs. And 5. What difference does the writer see in his mother's nature and his grandmother? Grandmother is calm and quiet, and she spends time in spiritual activities. But his mother, very much tense, always angry. So that is the difference. But here, what is the reason for this according to him? According to him, stress more on the degrees and diplomas than on the life and its experiencing. This should be your answer. So anyway, you have to go back to the letters. Now, let us read his second letter. This letter probes a point. Again, the same points are being probed still further. Which is more important, wisdom or knowledge? So, knowledge is only that comes under aparavidya. But wisdom, paravidya, that is about spirituality, about God, about scriptures. If your mind is mellowed in reading those things, your mind is always mellowed and everyone will be calm and quiet. So this is very important. Here, according to the boy, wisdom is important than knowledge. Common sense is important than knowledge. What should our education do for us? So all our education should concentrate on wisdom, not on knowledge. Knowledge comes if you by heart all the questions and answers, you will be getting rank 90, 80, 100 out of 100. You may, but what is the use? Well, you must have seen so many intelligent boys, they are very, very fine in their studies. But whenever you ask them, have you seen that cinema? Or have you met your friend? Did you talk to your father? No, I don't talk with my father. What to talk with him? They act like that. So, our education should give more importance. Come on, let us read on and find out what the writer thinks now. Let us go to the second letter. He starts his letter. Oh, Papa, last week my rose plant almost died. You see, he gives very simple examples. Some pests, because of so many pests, and he wanted to keep his rose plant healthy. I asked my biology teacher what I should do to save it. Naturally, biology teacher is a botanist also. And she was cross. She was so cross. What is that? She said, go ask the guy who keeps the gardening things. Do you think I'm a gardener? Go and ask him there. He will tell you. That was the answer of my biology teacher. We learn about pesticides, but we do not know how to use them. He gives a very practical examples. We learn all about pesticides. Wonderful paragraph, description. But we don't know how and when to use them. Oh, Father, in the middle of the paragraphs, again and again reminding, Appa. So here it is a sort of piercing. Oh, Father, it matters not to me why the apple does not fall upwards. So in your Newton's laws, I'm not bothered why it is not falling upwards. Nor do I care what Archimedes did. Eureka, he just came up. I don't bother about that. What matters to me is my rose plants remain healthy. I want to keep my rose plants healthy. That's all. Next paragraph. When there is a fuse in my house, I should know how to do something about it. For example, Papa, what is the use of electricity? If I know something about fusing, if fuse goes off in my house, I must be able to do that fusing. That's enough. I should know how to make a desk for myself from my carpenter's tools. So if there are any instruments are there, I must know how to make a desk for myself. He is quite practical. The boy is quite practical. Instead, I learn about hypotenuse relational square roots. Karna, Lambakona, Trikona and Karna, that we just read in geometry. Hypotenuse and rational equations. Samokona, Trikona, Chaturbhuja, like that. What is the use? I must take the help of the instruments and prepare something. Papa, see, this is very important. Papa, once I asked my grandmother how she got to be so wise. Once, Aji, how did you become so wise? I asked. Do you know what she said? By living and experiencing. What a beautiful answer that Aji gave. By living the life, by experiencing the life, man becomes wise. But going to the colleges, schools and colleges, he may become knowledgeable, but he won't be wiser. And she laughed as though I had asked something which was obvious. She laughed at my question. Hey, Hutse, that is simple. So I have become wise because of what? Living and experiencing. You see, so was the calm and quiet answer of my Aji. Are we living, Papa? So he got that living and experiencing. Are we living, Papa? Or is life bypassing us? What is happening, Papa? Is it bypassing us? What I fear is that if I were to meet Newton face to face, I would fail to recognize him. Even after reading that about Newton for so many years, if he comes and stands before me, I am not able to recognize him. Vinu, he gives one example. Vinu is a fine Tamil and Malayalam actor. He is now 72. He was born in 1948. Now he is still there. And his films have got so many awards. That award-winning film actor, hero, Vinu, what had in that award-winning film, he prattles, he repeats what? The hibiscus is red, the hibiscus is red, the hibiscus is red 100 times. Yeah. But in his book, he colors it yellow. He reads it as red, but he colors it as yellow. Then what is the use of this knowledge, classroom knowledge, Papa? Are we missing out on the essence of life? Are we losing the wonderful pulse of life? Are we missing the pulse? Are we not experiencing? Are we not living? You see how appealing the letter is. Anyway, you see, this word is very important. In your talks with your elders, anyway, Papa, do you know where I lost that quarter mark? Do you know the reason of my losing quarter marks and being slipped to the second rank? That brought my fall. It was a fill in the blanks. Very simple question paper. Very simple question. What is that? Fill in the blank question. I held that I was invited to tea, and this was to be filled. It was a blank, and I just wrote it. I was invited to tea. To tea. But my teacher was quite adamant. She said, invited for tea. He was invited for tea. The conflict between the usage of the prepositions. But I think, what do you think? What do you think? I think student is better. If I was invited to tea, for tea, that won't sound proper. For this mistake, she had cut the marks. Quarter mark. A matter of grammar, Papa. It is a matter of grammar. Simply stops. What is there going to happen? 40. 2T is the best answer. But she said adamant. Only 4 is the only answer. And Papa, he repeats Papa, Papa for several times. Papa, if George Bush is the president of India, if the teacher says, we have to say yes. We should not ask, how, madam? We should not ask. Then second thing, it will have to be so. Yes, we have to accept it. If he says, the sun rises in the west, so also, so be it. Hooray! And if she says, or he says, the earth is flat, it will be. It will be, my Papa. Yes, it is like that. We have to accept what the teacher says. My dearest Papa, still I shall keep your advice. You see how emotional the letter is. Still, very, very important word. Ishtadru. My dearest Papa, I shall keep your advice in mind and try not to lose any quarter marks. Okay? I have lost it, but hereafter I shall be more wise, intelligent. As always, yours ever obedient son, Rahul, the name of the boy. And here PS. What do you mean by PS? PS means postscript. In Kannada we call it Mareta Matu. After writing letters, if you have missed something, you write Mama in Kannada and PS in English, postscript. Your eyes will not see this anguished plea, angry plea, request. My father, your eyes are not going to see means what? You are not going to read my letter. Why? I am not going to post this letter. This was only to lighten my overburdened heart. I felt very heavy in my heart. and my mind. So I wanted to lighten, that's all. It is not all arteries and muscle. I'm not going to like this, Papa, why did you run like that? I don't use muscles. So it's only thing, I'm overburdened, with these letters, I'm going to lighten that burden. It feels too. Yes. And these two letters, are chosen from the newspaper article from the Hindu, Madras. So these are the two letters we have already read. Now, as usual, assignment. Number 1, what is that? What does the writer think is wrong with the education? Well, you have to think. So, it is giving stress on unnecessary things. That is what the child says. What would he really like to learn? He likes to learn about the things which are very useful in our day-to-day life than rote learning, than getting only degrees. Number 2, you have to write like that. Wisdom comes as a result of studying hard, A, living a full life, and both. So you have to make a choice after reading the letter. You have to what? You have to live a full life. That is the correct alternative. What does the writer think? By how many marks did he lose his first position? Quarter mark. That too, the preposition usage to, for. Then, why did he lose the mark? Because of the teacher's adamancy. She is not going to consider. According to me, 4 is right. You have written 2. So no mark. Marks cut. Who was right? The teacher or the student? But I feel as a teacher, student was right. For you would have accepted 4. But you should not cut the mark. That is what I also feel. Now what you feel, you just write your answers. Now let us move to the next one. Roman 2. The purpose of this Roman 2, you have to write essay type questions. And you have to think again. I have already told you. You have to listen, speak, read and write. So you have to use your 3 H. Head, heart and hand. Will the boy's father ever get this letter? What is your answer? Because that is here. Why he has written, your eyes will not see the anguished letter. That gives you a hint that his father never gets that letter. We have to supply the reason for that. Which words give you the answer? Again, from that letter. Why did Rahul write this letter? Only to lighten the burden he had in his mind. To lighten himself of that, he has written this letter. What kind of letter did the father write to his son? You have to think. What he must have written? Hey Rahul, you are not spending your time systematically, disciplined. You are not reading. You are not making hard efforts. He must have written. That is why you have lost mark. Do you think he did the right thing? If at all his father writes, if he had written that, do you think he is right? No. Why? Half mark. With half mark, he is not going to lose the whole life. Why should he be so angry? Why should he be instructing, giving instructions? And Give reasons for your answer. In this way, you have to think. No, it is my way of thinking, but whatever you think, you just put that in your words. The third one, what kind of education does Rahul think is most useful? Very simple answer. Most useful education is to increase our common sense. We must know more about the life by living and experiencing. This is. Do you agree? Then a question for you. Do you agree to him? If you agree, yes. If you don't agree, why? You have to write the reasons. Okay? You have to think on this way or that way. But for this way also, you have to give your argument, your reasons, and this side also you have to give the reasons. Fourth, imagine. This is very important for you. Imagine. What is that? That Rahul finally sends that letter to his father. Now he has not posted it. But suppose, think if he posts it, when his father receives it, he is deeply touched by it. Does he? Will he be touched by this letter? Maybe or may not be. But being a father, I feel, definitely the father will be touched. What changes do you think occur in his attitude towards education? And he may think, what Rahul says is right. Yes, he is right. Because we have to live the life. We have to experience the life. We have to know more things about practicalities of life, usefulness of life. If you simply by heart all the concepts in the science, all the formulas in your chemistry and mathematics, what is the use? The only thing that comes to you is common sense. So you have to do that. For preparing that mind, para knowledge is important. Para studies are important because that keeps our mind calm and quiet. We never become tense. We never become strung. We never become afraid. We never become anxious. So, this he wants, perhaps, you just write your own reasons. So, all these things, you have to do it. Then, this is a question between you and me, by the teacher and you students. What is that? How do you deal with your feelings when you are hurt and in pain? Go back again to your own experiences. Suppose, if you are scolded by parent or beaten by parent, why do you beat? What did I do? So I said, I'm giving some examples. Think over them. Go for a walk. Whenever you are angry, you go for a walk. Where are you going? Allah, I'm going somewhere. Why should I tell you? You're going for a walk. And second thing, do, what is that? Read a book. Taking a old book from your bookshelf, start reading. Whether you read it with concentration or not, but you want to pause. Do you do that? Then listen to music. Taking to all these things, on the computer. So many things are recorded. And go on listening the song. To enjoy. Do you do that? Break furniture or throw things. You must have done, break furniture. If you find that you just kick that chair, kick the table, and if you find the paper, tear it off and throw it away. So this is one way of getting that feelings out. Fight with your younger brothers and sisters. Perhaps you must have done. Will you do that? Take out your anger on your pets. If you have got a cats and dogs, you will be beating it. And even if that dog making a quack, quack sound, you will be beating it. So you will have that pleasure. Because like me, it should also suffer. Perhaps that may be the feeling. Will you do that? Do something with your hands. What to be done? Clean the floor. Suddenly, if you are very angry, taking that sweeping and cleaning the whole house out of anger, and wash the clothes, clean the floor. To the shock of your parents, you do that. So that is an outlet for you. And talk to the person you are angry with and settle the matter. For example, here the boy is angry with the father. He must go to the father. Father, don't lose temper. Only thing, have quarter mark, half mark. After what is there? I have lost my life. I have not lost my life. I have lost my life chance. So you will convince him and talk to him. This is one way. And stop talking to that person altogether. In your friend circle, whenever you are angry with man, you stop seeing him, talking to him. We call it as palapi. I am not going to talk with you hereafter. That's how you can do. All these options are given for your reference to write a write-up. What would you do? So, the reasons that you select shows your personality. So, I have given these options. You have to choose. And after choosing and writing, if you write a paragraph, we can understand what type of person you are. This is a fine psychological test, whether you are a positive thinking boy or a negative thinking boy. So those reasons are going to highlight your personality. Okay, will you do that? So that is last work. So I say thank you, and please do all these things at home at your leisure with all your will, pleasure, head and heart. Thank you.